Okay, we are live. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to this special MLK edition of the Welcome to We show. Please share this broadcast with your friends and networks now. At we.net/MLK, you can sign up for the full MLK schedule, updates, and to take action and be of service yourself and with your organization if you have one to help carry forward the work and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. My name is Rick Ulfik, and I'm the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net. We the World is a global coalition building organization with 11 campaigns for change that you can take action with us on, and you can collaborate with us by going to we.net/partner. On the Welcome to We show, we have three goals: to inspire, inform, and involve you in creating a world that works for all. That's three I's that make a we. So we can go from a me society to a we society. And on this show, we ask the question, what can we do together that we can't do on our own? Today, we'll be talking about Martin Luther King Jr.'s idea of the World House and how we can create beloved community through music and in other ways as well, with some amazing, dedicated folks, including Antoinette Rootsdawtah Hall, Lolo Lesser, Katherine Roma, and Beverly Ward, along with my co-host, Sue Blythe, who originally had the idea for this monthly show. Thank you, Sue. Sue Blythe coordinates We the World's campaign for the environment. She is doing what she can to make a sustainable, just, and peaceful world for her 8 grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. She is the founder of the Climate Collaboratory, a pilot project of We the World and the University of Florida Extension. Welcome to the broadcast, Sue Blythe.
Thank you so much, Rick Ulfik. Um, I'm really excited about our show this evening because we have 4 fabulous women bringing just a wonderful array of arts into our climate conversation. And we have a community-wide climate conversation that we are working on with the University of Florida. It's a pilot project with We the World and University of Florida Extension. And what we're trying to do is bring people together to talk about and take action on a sustainable, just, and peaceful future. And so we want to bring in as much fun and singing and dancing and movement into this process as we can. And so that's why I've invited these wonderful women tonight. And so we have 4 people. Antoinette Rootsdawtah is a pianist and evolutionary leader in service to conscious evolution, and I can't wait to hear about that. Lolo Lesser is a founder of the Empatharian movement for peace and has a World House challenge. Lolo Lesser, I'm sorry, Katherine Roma is the director of the World House Choir, and the Beverly Ward is the field secretary for the Earthcare, a Southern yearly meeting of the Religious Society of Friends, the Quakers. And so let's begin with you, Antoinette. And I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the music that you make in your life. And I do have a recording to play when you're ready for that. And what it is you do. with this, especially this evolutionary leader, please.
Thank you. Rick is also a member of the Evolutionary Leaders. So we've been nominated recently, last year and the year before, regarding the work of different conscious, enlightened individuals who want to make the world a better place by leadership within their own communities and what they're trying to bring about as far as change as we see like human evolution and progress. I really like the idea of how they're reaching out to more diverse communities, younger generations as well too. I've noticed that with a lot of interfaith and type of organizations, it's usually like a older white male, dominated type of society, and it's something that we're not used to seeing. So, and I didn't even realize, because the work that my husband and I do as far as musical ministry have always been along the lines and championing for the same goals as far as equal rights and justice, as far as climate change, as far as the environment, as far as the diversity and that we're all God's children, brothers and sisters. So we've always been preaching this message for a long time, but it's really just more recently that we are finding out that there were so many organizations that were dedicated and devoted to the very same message that we've been singing and preaching about. So we were never alone, and it was nice to be able to come together and work together with like-minded individuals and people. Our music ranges from everything from meditational type music. I do a lot of meditation music, as well as dance music, and I produce and write a lot of music for Pato stuff as far as like the high energy of the reggae. And so we like to be able to reach people on all different types of levels, no matter what their musical genre might be, but whatever the message is speaking to the heart and soul. I thought it was always important. The reason why myself and even Pato came into reggae music is that it was a conscious music. It was something that people learned about revolution. It was something that they learned about, peace and love and one God, one aim, one destiny. And it's like, this is how you can influence the youth, because even as many as you have mentors and teachers and people you look up to, people really love to listen to the music. And if the music inspires them to sit there and be a part of social change, then more power to it. Let's get more music out there. I'm hoping, like in the future, that they'll start to recognize that the arts, and if you see in the future in any type of science fiction, it's like, it's not always just going to be the intellect, but it's also going to be the arts that's really going to sit there and socially change the people as well too.
I'd like to share some music that you and your husband have put together. And let me just bring this up and beat that. Oh.
Yeah. This one is dedicated to the King, Martin Luther King, our civil rights champion. Understand me, no man. And this one is dedicated to all the people all over the world, to every man and woman, every boy and girl, to everyone who believes that equal rights and justice should apply to all, regardless of our color, class, or creed. This one's for Martin Luther King, our frontline soldier, Martin Luther King, our peaceful warrior, Martin Luther King, our civil rights leader, Martin Luther King. This one's for him. Well, just like MLK, I have a dream today. And like Bob Marley, I got so much things to say. Hey, wanna talk about empathy, equity and equality. Wanna talk about ending war and how to end poverty, how to end racial hate and police brutality. Cause where there's no justice, soldier, there can be no peace. Seems like humanity is in a state of emergency. We need more ethical leaders with a sense of integrity, like Martin Luther King, our Our frontline soldier, Martin. Martin Luther King. Our peaceful warrior, Martin. Martin Luther King. Our civil rights leader, Martin. Martin Luther King. This one's for
This
him.
one's for him. Okay. Ah, I just love that, and just appreciate so much the work that you do together on this. Thank you so much, Antoinette.
Thank you.
And those images are just so powerful. It's like a historical creation, you know. It's not just music with a beat, but it really captures the history too. So thank you.
I've noticed a lot of educators have now been asking us for some of our videos, like that one and the Black Lives Matter too, for some of the older kids, but they're, you know, using them within the classrooms and within to teach the history that's kind of long forgotten, and also not giving the full story, you know, because a lot of people within the schools can sit there and tell you, we've only gotten like one line of slavery and one line of Martin Luther King, and he had a dream and we were slaves, and that's about it. But they don't tell like the other story. So using music is kind of getting our way inside of there. But I think it's going to take a lot more than that. Maybe some legislation, maybe some policies changes, maybe changing some school standards. But, you know, we're going to keep at it no matter what.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your work. Wonderful work.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to meet Lolo Lesser, who is taking this message of Martin Luther King and turning it into a movement. And I'd like to hear, Lolo, about your Empatharian movement for peace and what you've done with that World House quote. Actually, I didn't give the quote yet. I don't even have it right in front of me, so I'll have to do it the best I can. But it's Dr. King when he received his Nobel Peace Prize, said, "This is the new problem of mankind. We have inherited a big house, a great world house in which we have to live together. Black and white, Easterners and Westerners." You have it there? Go ahead.
Gentiles and Jews, Catholics and Protestants, Muslim and Hindu, a family unduly separated in ideas, culture, and interests. Because we can never again live without each other, must learn somehow in this one big world to live with each other. So that is the quote.
And thank you so much. And so that's what Lolo has kind of taken into her heart. And just wait till you hear what she's done with this. Tell us all about it, Lolo.
Well, I guess the first thing we wanted to do was from the Sue's quote, put it to music. So there's a song that was written by marvelous, talented gentleman from right here in Olympia, Washington, where I am. And he wrote the song, and then we had it performed by a marvelous singer and guitarist in London, England. And then we had it looked at to do movement to with a couple of marvelous dancers here in Olympia, Washington, and they gave me the advice that said, we don't think you should do it that way. So let me explain. Doing the movement originally, we had thought we would translate the words. Empatharian, movement for peace, is actually a language of movement. It's a sign language, a little different from American Sign Language, which has gotten a lot of press lately. It's wonderful. But it's a little different in that it's whole body movement, whole body, and also we don't translate every word as American Sign Language does. It actually has to go through a process of translation about what the real meaning is of a particular thing. But we took on the challenge of translating this beautiful quote And actually, these dancers did a marvelous job of translating it, but the movements were so complicated and complex and fast, we thought no one could ever really do it, and it would be too much. So we chose to do something else, which is it's called the Empath Stretch. It is a piece of Empatharian, which I believe translates the spirit in an amazing way. So this is what it's based on, this position, which looks like a world house, yeah? This is the Empatharian for respect and dignity. And I believe that's what our world house is based on. And I love that it has come together this way. And there's a lot more about it. You know, making a stand is really important. So this is our making a stand, and peace building is what it's about, really, is we need to make a stand for peace building and justice and equality, which is this, you can't see my position, but anyway, two arms pretty much parallel. And then the building is we do movement. Because peace is a static thing, harmony, we're aiming towards that, but the peace building is what we're going to need to do because conflict is inevitable in our world. It's just the way human beings are, but we can develop ways of building peace and knowing how to do that beautiful negotiation and communication of what everybody's needs are. So that's the Empath Stretch that we're doing, is making a stand for peace building.
And so may I show it? I'd like to show what that looks like, okay?
Oh, you have a video handy?
I do.
Oh,
I do indeed. So that's the Empatharian version of the World House. So tell a little bit about the challenge that you've put out now.
Yeah, so the challenge we've put out is for people to participate with us and put in their own 3 to 10 minute video interpretations of the music, and we'd like music tracks as well as, you know, perhaps some rap track would be really nice. We have a couple of groups, one in Australia that we hope are going to bring in their tape children, and they are all of Sri Lanka descent. And we have also some people in South Africa, which is also led by a wonderful woman in South Africa, a group of children. So we've got a couple of children's groups who uh, have said they would participate, and I'm wanting to get lots more people of all ages. And particularly, the movements are easy for elders to do. And as you see, I'm not really dancing them, but we're encouraging the children to do their own dance interpretations. So they not only would do our movements, but they would do some of our movements. We want them to do our movements, but they can dance them, and they can also do their own improvisational interpretations in freestyle dance. So
And so if somebody would like to participate, how can they get in touch with you?
well, we've made a website, but you know, it all comes to my email, which is unempatharian@gmail.com. But the website is easy to contact, and you can do just a click there to contact us. And
What is the web address?
the web address is World House Challenge, all one word, .earth, EARTH. So worldhousechallenge.earth. And I just want to say that we are so excited to have people. Empatharian's a pretty new thing, really, although it was created in 1956 by my mom. She named it something else, and I changed it just at the beginning of 2020 because empathy is where we're at. And this is, my background is in psychology, actually. My mother was a prima ballerina and a dancer in 3 countries. Her first language was Russian, believe it or not. But she grew up in South Africa and gave me South African citizenship, although I have never been there, actually. But I was born in England, so, and I grew up in the United States. I have like 6 citizenships. It's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness.
But
The thing I love about this is that this Empatharian movement is like a universal language, that it doesn't matter what language you speak. We can all understand this movement language. So,
and it is a language in creation, Sue. I'm glad you brought that up. AIM is to be a universal language, and as such, we need to be tuned in to all the gestural languages that are there in the world. And there are many gestural languages. There's evidence that the first language of the first human beings who were in Africa, in the center of Africa, we all came from. And their first language was a gestural language before verbal languages. And there's something about gesture that is more primal for us. It reaches our heart. And my aim is we're going to transform the world doing Empatharian.
yes,
People
please.
doing it can heal their traumas, can heal. We actually have evidence that this kind of motion is the movement that will do amazing miracles with neurological damage, with psychic damage, with emotional damage, so that we're able to rebuild in healthy ways all those neural pathways. So anyway, I'm hoping that this World House Challenge will help people get interested. We're giving free gifts of a facilitator training so that they can learn to facilitate Empatharian groups. It's a 21 session free training,
Beautiful.
an hour a day for 3 weeks. And they can facilitate Empatharian circles, which we'd love to have, 8 to 15 people in circles all over the world.
Why not? That's
No
a
more
challenge in
lonely,
itself, right?
no more lonely people. But if it can descend to chaos, so we have a structure that makes it safe and healthy and positive for people to participate in, as well as a growth orientation, so that people can participate and touch into authentic communication rather than a face face type keeping face, which we often have to do in the world of well, we're all looking at our faces here, and I know we all love Facebook. I love Facebook. But there's also other ways of being in touch with people and being in touch with ourselves. And for most people, that's where it has to start, is we need to be in touch with ourselves and create the connections within ourselves to amplify our own energy and amplify our own power. And that communicates. So.
Wonderful.
It
Thank
sure
you,
does.
Lolo.
And we always do welcome non-human guests on the Welcome to We show, because we is not just about we as humans. We is for all of life on Earth. Who's your non-human friend?
Thank you for asking, Rick. This is Darby. Darby has been with me about 7 years, but he's actually about 16 years old. And yeah, now he's bored. He says, oh, well. But he usually gets kind of upset when he doesn't get to be in on a Zoom meeting. So I thought I would preempt him being upset by bringing him along here.
Nice to have you with us, Darby.
Yeah, he just loves to be.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lolo. That's wonderful. And so I'd like to introduce Katherine Roma, who is the director of the World House Choir. And so you've taken that World House quote and done something wonderful with it. Tell us all about that. Oh, and you're muted.
Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you. So yes, the World House Choir I started the choir about 7 or 8 years ago, and I was so moved by Dr. King's quote. I actually started a choir, an interracial, intergenerational choir in Cincinnati in 1992, and it was called the Martin Luther King Chorale. And I co-conducted with Bishop Todd O'Neill, a minister, African-American minister in Cincinnati. And for 22 years, we did that. So then I moved up to Yellow Springs, Ohio, and wanted to start a choir, an intergenerational, interracial, interfaith choir. And so the World House Choir was born. So we perform every Martin Luther King Day, and we are associated with the Coretta Scott King Center at Antioch College. And we were birthed there, and we grew too big for the building. The Coretta Scott King Center is the only center in the United States that's been named officially by Coretta. She knew about it and gave permission in the United States. So yeah, we didn't do anything live this year, as you can imagine, because we had COVID, but we did 3 videos for that performance, that gathering on Martin Luther King Day. I think that what I want to say is that the World House Choir is very involved in going into the prisons, as am I. And so been very involved with people writing music, incarcerated people writing music, and doing CDs. We have 4 CDs out. And the most beautiful thing that's happened to me during COVID is that a really wonderful deputy warden at one of the prisons, I have 3 prison choirs in Southwest Ohio here, It's a level 2 men's prison, and we're allowed to Zoom with them. And we will produce, maybe next year I can show you. Actually, it's going to happen this year, but we're doing something called Louder Together. And I'm a choral director. That's what I do. And I believe in bringing people together to sing. And so I've started probably 9 choirs in 4 different cities, and they're all peace and justice choirs, really, whether they're women's choirs or men's choirs or mixed choirs, church choirs, community choirs. And really, I benefited so much from the reading. I am constantly learning about the work of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I care so much about the late Dr. King, especially. Obviously, the early King is really important to me, but the last 2 years of his life, and what he stood for. Dr. Reverend William Barber, of course, carrying on the Poor People's Campaign. And the World House Choir was supposed to sing when he came to Dayton, or he was coming to Dayton in April, but of course COVID stopped that. And I had put together a choir of about 200 voices. And we were very sad not to go forward with that. But so, yeah, it's been dry COVID because we're super spreaders, and usually our voices and our words and our music spread the word of peace and justice. So are you going to show that? Are you going to show something? Because I want to talk a minute about it.
I am, yes.
Okay. So I've been working with this one particular man in prison. I started my first prison choir in 1993, and Eddie Robertson, whose piece this is that you will see, he and I have been working together since then. I'm friends with his family. I've gotten to know his family. The Innocence Project, the Ohio Innocence Project, has taken on his case. He's still in prison. But 5 years ago, he wrote this piece called Black Lives Matter. And the deputy warden and the warden came into the rehearsal and said that we couldn't perform it because it wouldn't be a good thing to do in the prison. And so if we were going to perform it at this concert that we had planned for the next day, we had to sing All Lives Matter. And so I had a conversation with the men, and they decided they still wanted to sing it, and they changed it. But the long and the short is this was written by Eddie Robertson. It was done 5 years ago. And then I've been in contact with him, and he said he wanted to update it. And so we did some updating. So the piece you will see right now is called Black Lives Matter. And we say Black Lives Matter. We don't say All Lives Matter. So that's a little introduction for those
Kathy,
people.
I'm sorry to say that's not the piece that I had. Do you happen to have it so that you could share it?
Oh gosh.
What I did was your video introducing the World House Choir. I'm
oh
so
yeah,
sorry.
you don't. Yeah, wouldn't want that. I don't know how to. Let's see. How do I? I don't know how
Well,
to do that.
It's okay.
I sent it to you. It's on email. Did
Then
you?
let
on
me.
your email?
Why don't you talk for a minute and I'll
Okay,
look for
I
that.
sent it on email several hours ago, maybe.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, so everybody, I'll tell about what I'm doing with Zoom. Once a month, a wonderful deputy warden at a prison where I work, Marion Correctional, has invited me and a woman who was the director of Hamilton Project. We did 23 of the 46 songs from the Hamilton last year. And so he was so impressed that he wanted to have us continue. So once a month we Zoom. And we can only have 10 people in the room, and he's one, so 9 singers for an hour each time. And it's been amazing, and they've created some amazing works. And so we are about to launch a virtual video. It's called a visual album, and it's called Louder Together. So I don't know, did you find it?
I've got it. Yes.
Okay, everybody,
Yes.
Thank you for bearing with me.
Okay. And thank you. Let me pull this up. Get it ready. Here we go. This is the one, yes?
Yes.
Good.
George Floyd, Breonna Taylor,
Eric Garner,
Ahmaud Arbery,
Mike Brown,
Elijah
Freddie
McClain,
Gray, Sandra
Tatiana
Walter
Jones,
Scott, LaQuan
Rashard
McDonald,
Brooks,
Kendra Chapman,
Casey Wilson,
Sheena Jones,
Andre Hill.
Annette Turner, Sarah Rose.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh,
those are people from the World House Choir and from my women's choir and from a church choir. Todd O'Neill, the man with whom I worked with King Corral, that's in his church, and it's some of his people. And then those children are people that Bishop Todd O'Neill teaches in Avondale, South Avondale Public School. And so we just tried to get as many people because we had to sing All Lives Matter in the prison. And then when we recorded it, on a CD, we had to sing All Lives Matter. And so I promised Eddie that I would do it the way that he wrote it. And so that's how that happened. But
beautiful. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you for that. And what it just, I love to hear choral music, and I love to see a well-produced video like that. And it's really a treat. Thank you for the
Well, thank
wonderful
you
work
very
you
much
do.
for showing it. And it's
Uh,
wonderful to be here with Antoinette and to Lola. And I haven't heard Beverly, but Beverly, I'm a Quaker. I'm leaving this meeting because I have a meeting with the Peace and Social Justice at Rockford Chapel, the Quakers in Yellow Springs. I'm a part of the Peace and Social Justice group. And so I feel like I have to do that. I want to go there because I'm committed, and I hope that's okay. Let's see how we are doing. Oh, I can stay another little bit to hear a little bit about Beverly, and then
Good.
I'm so sorry that I have to leave. But thank you, Rick,
Yeah,
and thank you, Sue, and everybody very
absolutely.
much.
Thank you. That's just wonderful. Okay, so the music and movement are part of this. And then what Beverly is involved in is a lot of work that comes out of her work as field secretary for Earthcare, Southeastern yearly meeting of the Religious Society of Friends, also known as the Quakers. And so welcome, Beverly, and tell us a little about your work and how you lay that out.
Well, thank you all so much. And Catherine, we're going to get into necessary trouble. I haven't graduated to good trouble yet, but I'm
You
working on
invited
it.
Rustin.
That's aspirational. Well, welcome, and I'm happy to be here with all of you. I guess the best thing, the way to begin this, is to share my screen just for a moment, um, so that you can see how this all comes together. This is my mind map of, so I can keep track of what I'm supposed to be doing. So this is the field secretary work for Earthcare, and um, to my knowledge, I am still the only field secretary for Earthcare within North America. But there's some other sustainability people that work with Quaker organizations, and we all play well together, and they're all in here also. So out of this work, my primary work is with the meetings within Southeastern Yearly Meeting, which is Florida, part of Georgia, part of South Carolina. We have worship groups also in Cuba and Nicaragua. I work very closely with Quaker Earthcare Witness, who has 4 accreditations from the United Nations. So I co-clerk the United Nations working group within Quaker Earthcare Witness, which is over here someplace. And each year, the United Nations holds a high-level political forum on sustainable development. And as part of our work with Quaker Earthcare Witness, we have been convening since 2017 a side event. And that side event brings together people from all over the world to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals. And since 2016, the United Nations has been recognizing the International Decade for People of African Descent. And so we have been joining, that's part of our work within our side event, is to talk about um, people of African descent, which is all of us, as someone pointed out earlier, but we're focusing on people in the diaspora and looking at the impacts of climate degradation, particularly on people in the diaspora and those people who've been marginalized through the type of economic systems that we're living with. And we've been making those connections globally around sea level rise, desertification, food sovereignty, and of course, the ongoing pandemics that are have been, that we're facing, and we are saying will continue to face because of the impacts of climate change. So, how can we learn from each other globally and share this knowledge? And how can we also talk about um, governing systems and structures that act as deterrents for us to share this knowledge and to adapt to the impacts of climate degradation, and also to reverse some of those impacts. So this is a tall order, and as Katherine says, she's going to have to leave soon because there are only 300 Quakers, 300,000 Quakers, I'm sorry, around the world. So we all are doing double duty. But part of my reason for sharing the mind map is to give you an idea of how we can think about the work that we do and how we connect to each other. So here in Florida, Sue and I connected to the Florida Interfaith Climate Action Network, and now I'm all connected to you. And so your organizations will go into that. And so I'll be bothering all of you. This is a part of the problem too, is that once you meet me, I start popping up and you're like, what is she doing here? Well, that is what I do. I show up, and this is how the work gets done, is that we share each other's information. Katherine, I've been posting things on Facebook all this month in recognition of Black Emphasis Month. So today's post was just the video that you shared with us. And we listen for these opportunities to lift each other up, and that's how, as again, this work gets done. Quite often, when I talk about my work, I am talking about my um, indignation with some of the impacts that I see. And I take that energy and I find ways to collaborate and work with others, such as Sue knows that she's one of the, Sue and Rick know that if they ask me to do something, I'll show up. And they do the same for me. Antoinette, you're definitely, and Lolo also. But we carry each other's work, and that is the thread that I see that's going to be so important with what we need to do and the change that we seek in the world. Is to lift each other's work up and to keep listening for these opportunities to share each other's work and to strengthen each other. It is a tall order that we have ahead of us. There's a lot of work to be done, but we are going to have to do it. We have no choice as long as we are here. And so my thing is to always find joy and love in doing that work and sharing each other. I don't have movement yet, but another connection that Sue and I have is we both are members of playback theater troupes. And for those of you who are not familiar with playback theater, it is a form of improvisation. And what the troops do is we listen to stories, particularly from people whose voices aren't often heard, and we play back those stories. So an example, playback has been around for more than 40 years. It's an international organization. There are troops all over the world. We like to lift up the work that's being done. And there's a Palestinian and Israeli troupe that work together. Our troupe, Living Mirror Playback Theater, is part of Playback North America. If you're not familiar with playback, Google it. You'll find things about it. You'll also find sketches from different troupes all over the world on YouTube. So this is another way to bring the arts into this work and also to be of service. Most playback troupes have some social justice component in their work. And again, so keep listening for these opportunities. My friend John Heimberg and I also put ourselves out as Beverly. We've been collaborators with Climate Change Theater Action, who every 2 years commissions plays to coincide with the Conference of Partners, which is the part of the United Nations and the climate change. It comes out of the Paris Accords. And all of the plays they're commissioned to collaborate, to be a collaborator. All you have to do is say, I will do some plays. That can be reading in your living room, anyway, anything to full productions. And this year we're coming up on an odd year. The plays are being written right now. I will share information that will go along with this recording on how to contact Climate Change Theater Action. If you just Google that also. Contact them by email. You'll get all 50 plays and you can have at it. Again, so I am so happy to be included with other artists because art touches people at a very primal level. And we can argue facts or do mind maps till the cows come home. But if you do a song, movement, a play, we are speaking a language that touches all hearts. So that's the sort of quick explanation of that mind map I showed you. I am open to, at this point, going back and having a dialogue with any of you around some of the things I've mentioned, some of the work that I do. I'm trained as an applied anthropologist, so I'm always studying groups and human activity, but that is part of the work, and I'm happy to be here and have this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Beverly. It's just really amazing to hear the range of activity that you do in your work with the Quakers. And I so appreciate knowing what you have done through the Florida Climate, Florida, what?
Interfaith Climate Action
Florida
Network.
Florida Interfaith Climate Actions Network. And I remember we kind of identified, I think it was 6 different frontline community workers who were deeply impacted by climate and environmental challenges, and they got up and spoke at a conference, and I know that they're getting their voices out through radio, some of them. And so I feel like the work that we're doing at the university, helping to make this what we're calling a community-wide climate conversation, is targeted one county at a time. We are working with the extension service, which is in each county in the whole United States. And so using the arts the way we've described tonight is part of our goal in this program that we're working on. What I'd like to show you is the playback, a little bit about the playback troupe that Beverly is with. And this
I just want to say goodbye, everybody. And
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
And
I want to
before
say I'm
you
very
go,
grateful. Yes.
yes, before you go, Katherine, can you let people know how they can connect with you to learn more and, of course, see the choir?
Absolutely.
And
You can
all
always,
that?
the easiest way, thank you so much, is through the World House Choir. I get those emails. So just go on to the World House Choir website and you can get to me, or I can give you CAROMA129 at Gmail. that's directly to me. And thank you so much. And I learned so much from everybody. I'm so grateful to everybody. And I'm going to be after Beverly because I'm right now leaving to go, to join because I have to report about the FCNL, the Friends Council on Legislation. And so I have my little part to play. And I really appreciate Sue and everybody, Rick, and all the guests. It's been a great honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
So let me share this out and show you. This is Living Arts.
Good evening and welcome to Playback Theatre. Playback Theatre transforms personal stories by you, our audience, into improvised theatre pieces on the spot, incorporating music, movement, ritual, and spoken improvisation. We don't come with stories prepared. We come to you with our skills and our humanity in the service of your stories. Turn to a neighbor, perhaps somebody that you didn't come to the theater with, and share a personal story.
I think what I appreciate most about this group is the way that they are able to play off one another in such a playful way, but also honoring the story deeply. And I mean, there's so much that has to go on. They have to be comfortable with each other and trust each other, but also be paying attention to what's not said in the story. And those are the sort of beautiful and moving moments when they embody the feelings and I guess realizations that the storyteller hasn't even put words to.
If you were going to give this story a title, what title would you give it?
Wake up call.
Wake up call.
I can find the energy to take care of you. I can help.
Take care of you.
What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
What do you need? What do you need?
Although our stories are individual, they're bigger than us at the same time. That our story is other people's story, and other people really can understand it. That's something to see. Because these people who don't even know anything about your life can play it back and actually nail some of it. It's amazing.
And where does it take place?
In my hometown, actually, in this little Italian eatery called Olive Garden.
She always has the best stories. She comes up with the best stories. You'll never believe this one. Spell it, baby.
Did it kind of happen like that?
Just like that.
Just like that.
But I have to say, I was really, really impressed and amazed with how well these actors were able to tell these stories of these tellers and the musicians as well. This whole ensemble together really, really gave poignant, meaningful, and a lot of times really funny renditions of the teller's stories. I thought it was just really, really a lot of great fun, and I definitely recommend folks to go check it out if they have a chance.
Yeah. Great.
Good evening and
sorry. So what I love about that is that I believe that through music, through dance, through theater, we can have some wonderful times together working on these very serious, heavy topics. And so that's what I love about working with Rick and We the World, and just being open to innovative ways to create that we society. And I thank you, Rick, for making all of this possible.
Well, thank you, Sue. And watching that just brought back memories for me, because I used to play keyboards and piano for an improv group. And it was a fantastic group called Interplay. And it just brought it all back. That's what we would do. And we would improvise songs. Also, they were so skillful at creating, you take a suggestion from the audience, and they would just say, you know, a place and a time, and then the actors and singers would improvise lyrics and a whole music, a whole song, you know, and the audience would suggest a style. They say reggae or Frank Sinatra or whatever, you know, and we would all go with it. So it brought back a lot of memories for me because I play
I want to
keyboards.
play that game.
Yeah.
So we're making up sustainable world games at this point. So we just did one, and I invite you all to play with us. Okay, so I just thank you all so much for doing what you do and being here tonight. It's a great honor to be with all of you.
Yep. Is there anyone who would like to share how people can connect with them? How about you, Antoinette?
Oh, you're muted.
That's the four most used words in the last year. You are on mute.
Thank you. So I put in the chat on your Facebook live feed, the Stand Up for Justice. That's our Facebook page. Standupforjustice.us is our website. So when you guys get a chance, I'll try to see if I can contact Katherine, but I really loved her video. We actually have a section that we're, showcasing the arts, with our favorite music for social justice and equality. And that's a very beautiful song. I would love to put it into our collection, with our collaborative partners. Positive music is really, and there's really not enough songs out there. There's a lot of people creating stuff, but we're really not hearing about them. And especially if they're unknown artists or groups and stuff, we really want to, help lift up their voices and share their work. So just tell her to just get in touch with me, or I'll try to find her and find her video and add that into our section on our website and our YouTube channel. Yes. Stand up for justice.
That's great. Anyone else? I think we know how to connect with Beverly and Lolo. Do you want to give how people can connect with you?
Well, the website for the World House Challenge is worldhousechallenge.earth. And I have a website for Empatharian as well that I would like to share with everybody. It's empatharian.com, and it's spelled with A's, right? And an E at the beginning. So, yes. And I want to say about Quakers that it was when I was living with a beautiful Quaker peace activist in San Rafael, California, that she empowered me to take my mom's work and take it one step farther, and said, you need to do her work. You need to do this work. And so I feel very close to Quakers in that way. She lent me her peace pole for our first meetings, and we met on bridges, always meeting on bridges. So, including
I like that.
Yeah. But of course, it really kind of, she passed away sadly, and I moved from there, and life takes over. So it hasn't been going on all that time, actually. So I've just really started at the beginning of 2020 again.
Great. And how about you, Sue? How do people connect with you and the Climate Collaboratory?
So the Climate Collaboratory is at climatecollaboratory.org. And you can contact me directly at Sue Blythe, that's SUEBLYTHE, at we.net. And I just wanted to add that another focus of our Climate Collaboratory, and again, that's a pilot project, we're just trying things out, but there's a very heavy emphasis on uniting the different spiritual and faith traditions and helping to bring about that heart-based prayerful way of approaching the climate crisis, all of the social and justice issues that we're working on, and to do that together in harmony is really the goal of our Climate Collaboratory. And so I just really thank you all for the work that you do, and I can't wait to see how we collaborate and how we do the theater and everything in Zoom. It's a challenge, and I take it on. Let's figure out how we can do this.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I have a couple of announcements. So the MLK 40 Days of Peace, here, I'm going to spotlight myself here. MLK 40 Days of Peace continues through February 28th. You can sign up for the full MLK schedule and to get updates and take action and be of service by going to we.net/MLK. And the next Welcome to We show will be March 16th. And it's going to focus on a few different things that are happening in March, including International Women's Day, which is March 8th, and the beginning of Earth Month, which starts on the equinox and goes through April 22nd, which is the Earth Day. So we have a whole month of activities and convergence of events and all kinds of things happening there. And something that we want to announce is we are relaunching Trends Magazine, our online magazine. The full title is Trends in Global Grassroots Organizing. And it's going to be a powerful issue on women, with a focus on women, environment, and really all of our 11 campaigns. So remember, collaboration is fundamental to what We the World is and what we do. So to collaborate with us and all of our 11 campaigns for change, go to we.net/partner. And, you know, it's all about we. So as we usually say, let's go to from a me-based society to a we-based society. And as our dear friend Jonathan Granoff says, I hope that we expand so much that there is no longer any them. Thank you all so much, and bye-bye.